Welcome to our special broadcast of the Democratic Alliance Eastern Cape Manifesto Launch in the northern areas of Nelson Mandela Bay. I am Sinayi Njudu. The DA has called this upcoming election as a historical opportunity for change, and today the party will be presenting what they call their plan to rescue South Africa. I am now joined by the DA provincial spokesperson and chief whip, Georgina Feldman. Thank you so much, Mr. Georgina, for joining us here at MPK TV. Just tell us, what are the key priority areas in the Eastern Cape Manifesto?
Okay, thank you so much, and welcome to Nelson Mandela Bay. Today we are in West End, Nelson Mandela Bay, in the heart of Nelson Mandela Bay, Gqeberha. So what we are presenting today to the people of the Eastern Cape, one of our key priorities is lifting people out of poverty, creating jobs, and also deal with the issue of crime and violence, and also including murder, attempted murder, and gender-based violence. Those are the three issues that we want to deal with as a province.
Just tell us, do you think the multi-party charter will be a hard sell to Nelson Mandela Bay residents who are tired of the unstable coalition in the metro?
I don't think it will be a hard sell to the residents of Nelson Mandela Bay. What our residents need is a stable government that can provide services to our people. Currently, Nelson Mandela Bay is a broken city. We are sitting with leaders that doesn't have a plan for Nelson Mandela Bay. And the multi-party charter is the like-minded politicians coming together with the same vision to rescue our people in South Africa. So I don't think it will be a hard sell because people want to see services happening on the ground.
So, and lastly for me, do you have a plan for how the DA can stabilize the Nelson Mandela Bay's local governance?
Of course, we have a plan. When we look to the current manifesto plan that we are presenting to the people of the Eastern Cape, but now for Nelson Mandela Bay as well, it's not a plan that we suck out of our thumbs or a far-fetched dream. It's a plan that are dealing with the issues at hand. It's a plan that speaks to the heart of our citizens. It's a plan that can stabilize government. We're speaking about creating 2 million new jobs. We're speaking about lifting people out of poverty. And currently in South Africa, the Eastern Cape is the poorest province in this country, and on top of that, we have the highest unemployment rate. So there's an urgent need to create jobs, to grow the economy, to cut corruption, to deal with the issue of cadre deployment, and to create jobs so that families can provide for their families.
So what are you hoping the outcome to be from this manifesto?
The outcome would be that people would understand this is not something that we are not busy playing politics here. We are busy fixing South Africa. We are busy rescuing South Africa from a ANC government that don't care about the people of this country. When you go around, you will find our education system is broken. Our healthcare system is not working. There's a lot of issues in this country. And I want to tell residents today outside there's still hope because the DA is bringing a plan that can fix South Africa. But we need people to rally behind the mission of the DA to make sure that we rescue South Africa together.
The longest-serving MPL in the Eastern Cape Legislature, Bobby Stevenson, has been working for the DA for 25 years. He spent his day holding the ruling party accountable. Recently, he announced his retirement to a standing ovation in the chambers. Bobby Stevenson, thank you so much for joining us here at MPK TV. Just first of all, congratulations on your retirement. How have you seen the DA change over the years? Do you think it's ready to govern the country?
Well, I've been part of the DA's history since I was at school, the DA and its predecessors, and it has really grown tremendously. If you look after the 94 election, I think the then DP got about 2%. Now we're a party where the latest poll shows we're on 27%. So it's grown tremendously. It looks like coalition governments are definitely on the cards in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal, and with the strong possibility of a new coalition government at national level. So I've really seen tremendous growth in the Democratic Alliance over all the years that I've been involved, and I've been very, proud and excited to be part of it, and also for the next chapter. So the DA governs a number of municipalities in South Africa. They also govern the Western Cape. So we have a wealth of experience throughout the party that can be used when we come into government.
Why should residents vote for the DA in this coming up election?
Well, if you look at the Eastern Cape has high levels of poverty. There's load shedding. There's broken roads. There's a high crime rate, and we have the highest unemployment rate in South Africa. And the last statistics that came out a few weeks ago show that 111,000 people lost their jobs in the last quarter.
And lastly for me, so will you continue working for the party after you retired?
Oh, definitely. I'm not finished with politics. I'm going to be very involved in a local level because I want to see the Democratic Alliance win Nelson Mandela Bay outright. It's the only way that we will rescue Nelson Mandela Bay from the current failing municipal government.
So in your 25 years in the DA and legislature, do you think what can you say some of your highlights have been?
Well, in the legislature, I've certainly had a number of highlights. One of them that really stands out is Warmer High. Warmer High is in Warmer Township. They were classed as the same quintile school as a grey or a collegiate, top model C schools. And I managed to get the quintile status changed. So then they would get 800,000 or 900,000 rand more a year than they were getting. So I felt that's really made a difference. Then there was a time when the provincial government wanted to close down these frail care centres for the chronically disabled. These are people that need 24-hour care. And together with civil society and legal aid, I fought this. And those chronically disabled centres are still around today.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. We cross now to the DA provincial leaders to unveil the party's manifesto for the Eastern Cape, which includes the party's plan to end load shedding.
You know, this beautiful home and our family who live within its boundaries, we are a proud and we are a beautiful people. But we are a proud and beautiful people with abundant, untapped potential. A people filled with hope of a better future for themselves, their children, and their grandchildren. A people who deserve to live in a home with a constant supply of electricity, healthy food in our cupboards, and jobs. A home that is united, strong, and safe. A home that delivers dignity to all members of our family, from the cradle to the grave. Our family deserve all of this, and we deserve so much more. But sadly, this is not the lived reality for the majority of people who live in our Eastern Cape family. The reality is that our province, our home, is dark due to load shedding and failing municipal infrastructure. The cupboards in the kitchen are empty due to the crippling cost of living.
Families are being torn apart by drugs, while criminals rape our sisters, and our mothers are taking their own lives because they cannot feed their children. The reality is that our family, die mense van die Ooskaap, abahlale base Mpuma Koloni. We are being humiliated. Our dignity is being stripped from us every single day by an uncaring government that is driving more and more people into poverty, unemployment, and hopelessness. You see, our home, the Eastern Cape, and I'm sorry to have to say this, Our home, the Eastern Cape, is the poorest and most poverty-stricken home in the entire country, with the highest unemployment rate and the highest rates of violent crime anywhere in the country. You know, you are more likely to be unemployed, starve to death, or be murdered in the Eastern Cape than any other province in South Africa. This is skanda. It is unacceptable. A young child in the Eastern Cape cannot see a clear pathway out of poverty when child malnutrition stunts their growth, limits their opportunity, and destroys their future. How can we sit back and do nothing while our children suffer the shameful indignity and abuse at the hands of an uncaring government? How can anybody sit back and tolerate the humiliation of being brought upon our family, our home, our province? Well, we are here today to tell the people of the Eastern Cape that the DA in the Eastern Cape will not sit back and watch this tragedy continue to unfold, not on our watch. We will not fold our arms nor close our eyes. We will fight to rescue our home from the clutches of a corrupt, uncaring and criminal government so that we can deliver dignity and opportunity to the people of the Eastern Cape, our family, right here in this beautiful province. We will rescue the Eastern Cape and fundamentally change the lives of some of the poorest people in our province by lifting them out of poverty and into opportunity and into a future where their hopes and their dreams can be realized. We will build an opportunity ladder out of poverty and into opportunity so that we can grow the middle class in the Eastern Cape and build a job-creating enterprise economy which will inject hope into the hearts of our children, who will finally be able to see that a better future is within reach. Now, we know that South Africans are tired of empty promises and broken promises from an uncaring government, and that is why our manifesto is a detailed, evidence-based blueprint, a rescue plan that we know will deliver South Africa from the corrupt criminals who have stolen the dignity of the people. Vandag ons sê, genoeg is genoeg. Kwanele, kwanele. Genoeg is genoeg. Kwanele, kwanele. You see, through this plan, we will tackle poverty in the Eastern Cape because a DA government doesn't steal and waste money. And if you don't steal and waste money, it means you have more money to spend on vulnerable people, so you can increase the child support grant, so that you can introduce a job seekers grant, and you can employ more social workers to strengthen our families. We will create jobs by investing heavily in the infrastructure that is critical for the growth of our economy, so that we can lift people out of poverty into jobs and ultimately into that job-creating middle class that will continue to grow our economy for generations to come. This is my favorite one. We will fight violent crime in our communities like never before. But we have a message for South Africa. We will never get the criminals off our street until we get the crooks out of cabinet in the union buildings. And that is why we will put more boots on the ground and less generals in Pretoria. Under a DA government, no criminal will be able to hide as we deploy technology and evidence-based policing strategies to root out criminal syndicates and the gangs that are terrorizing our families, stealing our children's futures, and destroying the fabric of our families. We will build a capable state in this province by abolishing cadre deployment and ensuring that the best people are employed to deliver the best services to the people who need the services the most. We will end load shedding and water shedding. Now, water shedding and load shedding is affecting, we've got job shedding in the Eastern Cape, we've got water shedding, John, we've got load shedding, and we've even got road shedding. Our roads are falling apart, we've lost jobs, we've got no water coming out the taps, and we've got no power in the electricity grid. We will end load shedding and water shedding as a priority because this is affecting more and more communities every day than it was 5 years ago when Premier Oscar Mabuyane took over this province. Places like Makanda and Esbeleni in Ekomani, who suffer regular water shedding, they will have clean, quality water coming out of their taps consistently. Because a DA-led government will ensure that there is water in our taps and light in our light bulbs. Now, in order to build our opportunity ladder, which is critical so that our future can climb out of poverty and into opportunity, we will rescue our broken education system, which is leaving millions of children behind every single year. We will make sure that we triple the number of grade 4 learners who can read for meaning, and we will ensure that children and the teachers that are employed to teach them are in school every school day of every week of the entire year that they are supposed to be there so that they can get a quality education to build our economy. On the way down here, we drove past Livingston Hospital. And everybody sort of just starts to shake their heads. How can we truly have dignity when we have a broken healthcare system? And this is why the DA will commit to building a quality healthcare system for all South Africans, no matter where you live. Livingston Hospital must be as good as the best private hospitals in South Africa. There's no reason why we can't make that happen. Every clinic should be able to do more than just give you one Panado and send you home. The fear that people have of going to Dora and Ginza or Livingston Hospital is that if they go there for a simple procedure, they might leave in a coffin. That is an unacceptable fear for people to carry in their hearts and to suffer the indignity of that fear when they are going for a simple procedure. We need to make sure that people go to hospital, get the care that they deserve so they can come out healthy and continue to contribute to building our nation and our communities. Democrats, the Eastern Cape is our home, and her people are our family, and they need us. So today I'm calling on all freedom-loving South Africans from all corners of our province and the country to stand up and fight harder than ever before to rescue our home, so that ours will be a home with food in our cupboards, children and teachers in our schools, graduates in jobs, water in our taps, light in our light bulbs, and hope in our hearts. Because if we have hope in our hearts, we will be able to light the pathway to prosperity under a DA-led government. So I want to ask you to rise today, to stand up in this hall. Pakama, stand up. I want you to hold hands together and to lift your hands and to dedicate yourselves to the fight to rescue South Africa. Let us join hands today to rescue our country, rescue our province, rescue our communities, and leave no voter behind as we march to the Union buildings on the 29th of May. Viva DA, viva! Pambili DA, pambili! Vorentoe DA, vorentoe! Enkosi bayadanki pambili vorentoe. Let's do this.
You see, that's why I love the Eastern Cape. Dis lekker hier in die baai, ne? Ngithanda ibayi kakhulu. Mowede nonke, goeiemôre, goeiemiddag, môre. Al die wonderlike mense en baie dankie vir daai wonderlike liedjie. Kom ons gee hulle nog 'n hand. The last time somebody wrote a song about me, it said, "Shut up, Steenhuisen." So I think I prefer this song more. And I think we're going to make this a campaign song as we take our message of hope and change all over the country. And what a wonderful privilege to be here in Nelson Mandela Bay, in the Eastern Cape again. This province with such a proud heritage, the birthplace of our first democratic president, Nelson Mandela. And you know as well as I do, and you've heard from Andrew Whitfield in the most eloquent phrases possible, the huge potential and opportunity that this province has to be a great province. But the truth of the matter is that things in the Eastern Cape, if we're honest with ourselves, and in this election, it is time to be honest with ourselves, that things are not going well, and that the future has in fact never looked bleaker than it does as we sit in this hall today. Despite all of its potential, despite the most amazing people in the country, I would say, despite all of the resources, the Eastern Cape has come to embody the betrayal of its people by the ANC. Nowhere in the country do people suffer the hardship of 3 decades of corruption and mismanagement in a more painful and direct way than the people here in the Eastern Cape. This province that was once the place of industrial advancement and manufacturing and friendly people has now come to be associated with something far, far different. And that thing is hunger. The ANC have turned this province into a province of hunger, of starvation and hardship, and we're here to say that we will not take it anymore from this government. And that we will not stand by as idle witnesses as this government systematically starves its people on the ground, starves its children, and robs them of their future every single day. And I'm also here to say to all of those people who are sitting in the Eastern Cape, wondering, is there somebody who cares about me? Does somebody know my pain? Does somebody know how hard it is for me to look at my children around the dining room table every night and see the pain of hunger in their eyes? Are you sitting in the Eastern Cape wondering if you will ever get a job again? And I'm here today to say to you, there is hope. The hope is a blue hope. It's the DA hope. And we are going to be the voice for the voiceless. The silent majority who the ANC expects just to sit in the corner and suffer in silence. And we're going to be a voice for that mother who wonders if it's not better to end her children's lives than to watch them starving to death. And let me tell you, it is too late for some amongst our residents here in the Eastern Cape. Just a few months ago, outside Butterworth, a 38-year-old mother mixed rat poison with what little food was left in the house, and she fed it to her 3 starving children before she hung herself. The bodies of what had once been a beautiful family were only discovered a few days later when a debt collector, who she had turned to in desperation to try and save her children in a last attempt, showed up at the door looking for the money that she had borrowed. And the tragedy is that this isn't an isolated story. This is one tragic story of thousands of families that go to bed hungry every single night in this province of the Eastern Cape. And today, as we speak in this hall, more than a quarter of all children younger than 5 are stunted. They're much smaller than they're supposed to be at their age because of malnutrition. The South African Human Rights Commission recently reported on thousands of cases where in this province, children were diagnosed with acute malnutrition. In today's Eastern Cape, children are dying of hunger. And this is the legacy of the ANC in this province, from a province of hope to a province of hunger. And so it now falls to us as the Blue Party and the Democrats to rescue this province, to take it out of this terrible spiral, and to give the people of this province the hope that they need, that tomorrow is going to be better than yesterday, and that their children's lives will be better than theirs. And that must be our mission, Democrats. That has to be each and every one of our personal missions. That this election is personal. It may be political, but it is personal. Because all of us in this hall know somebody who hasn't worked for over a year. It may even be you. Everybody knows someone in their community or family that's going to bed hungry every night. So this election isn't political, it's personal. And we've got to make it personal by getting out there and speaking to every single South African. And that is why I'm so proud today, in the midst of this hopelessness in the Eastern Cape, to launch our manifesto. Because the message is to those mothers and fathers, those uncles and aunts, those brothers and sisters, that help is on the way. And like any crisis plan that needs to address an emergency situation, our plan to rescue the Eastern Cape is such a plan of hope, a plan of opportunity, and a lifeline to the people here. And I want to make a commitment here today in front of all of you, that if the people of this province in the Eastern Cape elect a DA government or a DA-led government in this province after the election, we will implement the findings of the Human Rights Commission, and we will declare childhood hunger in this province a disaster, and we will move to save our children. And it won't stop there, because if we get into power at a national level, we will increase the child support grant to 760 Rand a month, above the food poverty line. Because we know that putting 250 Rand back into the pockets of our people will ensure that they can feed their families. But we won't stop there, because we also have a plan to make food cheaper. When last did you go and see the shopping? How much has the cost of oil gone up? What about flour? What about chicken and beef? The price is going up every month, more and more, and our salaries are going down lower and lower. But we have a plan to fix it. We're going to cut VAT off more items like baby food, like coffee, like milk powder, and so many other things that our people need to survive, so that we can put food on the tables of our families here in the Eastern Cape. But it doesn't stop there. Because if we don't address the root cause of hunger in this province, we won't be able to deal with it permanently. And the root cause of hunger in this province is unemployment. It's that people don't have jobs. And what we need to do is to make sure that we give our people work. And not these 2 hours a week jobs, proper jobs that come from a government that is serious about attracting investors here. In the DA-run Western Cape, in last year alone, 300,000 new jobs were created. That's 300,000. That's 300,000 families that can now look after themselves, that can build a better future for their children and for their children's children. And so we need to, in this province, unleash a jobs revolution that's going to bring jobs to people's homes and give people the dignity of work. Because there's the best way to fight inequality, the silver bullet for poverty, is a job. That's where it begins and that's where it ends. A job. And instead of stealing the money in this province, we will spend it on infrastructure to make sure that we bring the factories back into the bay, back into the areas where they need to be, and with them the jobs that we need. Now, we can see that we sit without lights. How can you run a business? How can you live a life of dignity if you don't even have electricity? And we have a plan to put power back in your home, power back in your business, and power back in the economy here in the Eastern Cape. We're going to fight crime, and Andrew Whitfield, who's our kampvechter with the police, who takes on that Rampoka Beki Tele every single day, and make sure that he's held accountable. We don't want Beki Tele sitting in the union buildings. We want Andrew Whitfield sitting in the union buildings. We don't want somebody going around like a crime scene reporter with a fancy hat. We want somebody going out there with handcuffs to make sure that those people go to jail. That's what we want. And we will abolish cadre deployment, because we all know our services don't work. When you go to the SASSA office and you get treated like you're worse than the lowest of the low. When you go to a hospital, a public hospital, and the staff don't look at you because they think that you vis jy wat sit hier in ons kantoor. And those people that have been deployed into the public service to serve their party, not the people, we're going to get rid of all of them. And I see that the deputy president yesterday, you know, Paul Mashatile, he's the one that's friends buy him 375 million rand houses, and he lives a rock star lifestyle while our children are starving to death here in the Eastern Cape. I don't know how on this God's good earth that you sit in a mansion paid for by somebody else drinking Johnny Walker Blue Label while our children are starving to death here in the Eastern Cape. This is skanda. This is skanda. I'm a sailor. But you know what he said yesterday? This is how shameless the ANC are. Do you know what he said yesterday? He said that cadre deployment is brilliant. He said it's brilliant. And that tells us everything that we need to know about the ANC in this election. They think it is brilliant that their cadres have destroyed Eskom so we have no electricity in our homes. They think it's brilliant that cadres have destroyed the water infrastructure so when you open your taps at home, there's no water. Ayikho mans. They think it's brilliant to send those same cadres on the most wanted list from the Zondo Commission back to Parliament, where they're going to carry on stealing your money and carry on robbing your child's future. But I've got news for Mr. Mashatile. I've got news for him, and we've got news for him as the DA. Not this time, buddy. Not this time. Because the ANC on the 29th of May are going to reach their date with destiny. And just like we know that the wheel of justice turns slowly, but it definitely turns, that wheel of justice is going to do a full revolution and crush the ANC underneath it and allow a new government to come into place. Because that's what deserves to happen to parties that forget our people. That's what deserves to happen to people who steal money every single day. That's what deserves to happen to people who fly serving $1 million meals in the airplane while children and families cannot even put food on the table. They deserve to be crushed by that wheel of justice that's been waiting too long to roll over them. And then we're going to see them running for cover, because they know that when Andrew Whitfield and John Steenhuisen and Bax Nodada and all the rest of our team in Parliament, they know there's only one color for them, and it's not blue, it's orange. They're going to be in orange overalls, every last one of them. Because when we bring those scorpions back, jy weet daai skorpioen het 'n baie skerp stert. En hy het gif in daai stert. En net soos daai skorpioen, hy sal hierdie ouens kry. And we're going to make sure that we sting them hard and they go to jail where they belong, not in the union buildings, they belong in jail. And so, I ask every one of you in this beautiful province to be part of this mission to rescue our country. Because, friends, don't listen to these people who come here. I see there's an ANC light party that puts up posters here. And they come and say, no, they first said 2024 is our 1994. But now they're saying, no, 2029. Let me tell you, I have news for them. There'll be nothing left in 2029 if we don't save South Africa and rescue our country in this election. And so, as we go out from this hall, each and every one of us needs to be an evangelist for change in our community. And this election is going to be won not on Twitter, not on Facebook, not on Instagram. This election is going to be won on the doorsteps of South Africa. That's where it'll be won. And that's also where we're going to separate the real parties that have got a presence on the ground from the popcorn parties that pop up every election to try and distract attention. And that is why each and every one of you today, I'm appointing you chief evangelists of change, to get out there and take the good news message of the DA's recipe, our plan to rescue the Eastern Cape, to every single household in this province. And let me tell you, the people are hungry for this message. Hulle is honger om te hoor hoe ons land kan red. Hoe ons kan terugstaan en teenstaan teen die rampspoedige gevolge van ANC korrupsie en wanbestuur. Geel steel, rooi is nie mooi, maar die blou jy kan vertrou. Dis die waarheid. And the message we've got to them is help is on the way, but you've got to vote for that help and you've got to vote for that change. I'm excited about this election because we can do it this time. I'm excited about this election because we can change our country. I'm excited about this election because we've got the people, the power, the policies, and the principles to get things done and to rescue not only the Eastern Cape, but to rescue this beautiful country of all of ours. Pambili DA Pambili, Tata DA Tata, Panzi Amasela Panzi, forward to the 29th of May, where we will work together to liberate our provinces, liberate our towns, and liberate our country from this ANC government. And then we can start to write that new blue future for our people in this country. And that party that's going to get that done is no other party than this party, the Blue Party. It's my party, it's your party, it's our party, it's South Africa's party. Let's go out and win!
One of the big promises the DA has made to the youth is job creation. Interim youth leader Nicholas Nyati says they have a plan to create 2 million jobs if elected into power.
Thank you very much for having me. I think in the Eastern Cape, biggest cause of everything that we have, our biggest cause for GBV, our biggest cause for crime, our biggest cause for everything that is happening is unemployment. And we are currently topping the whole country when it comes to unemployment. At the DA today, we have presented a plan. We're not just speaking about empty rhetoric of saying we're going to create jobs, but we've actually spoke about how we're going to create those jobs. You can create jobs by creating a conducive environment. And that conducive environment means a permanent supply of electricity by ending load shedding, a permanent supply of having water by ending water shedding, and also the societal issues, the skills that are killing our youth. Young people in Eastern Cape are not being trained, and this manifesto speaks to that. The race-based policies that keep on chasing investors away, this manifesto speaks about that. This is more than just a manifesto. It's a rescue plan, or as you may call it, it's a blueprint towards good governance.
And lastly, you know how youth says they're not going to vote, okay, they don't know which party to vote for because they just don't know where they stand. So how can you, as a youth leader at the DA, say that, you know what, the youth come this side, this is what we have to offer, this is what we're going to change? How can you encourage more youth to join the party?
I think for the first time in a very long time, young people are coming to the party. If you looked at this event today, more than 50% was young people. And that is changing in South African politics. Even when we look at the registration that recently happened, for the first time in South Africa, we have the biggest number of people come out and register to vote. I think young people now realize that we are no longer just voting for our freedom, but we are actually voting for our survival, because these elections are a matter of life and death, are a matter of opportunity or the continuous despair that we face as a country and as young people. So I think young people are rising up to the challenge, but there are still those ones who are saying, no, I'm not coming. And my message to them is very simple. You might not be interested in politics, but politics is interested in you. You know something very serious? Politics actually influences who you date. You know that? In Uganda, people cannot be gay. It's against the law. People cannot date. It's against the law. In India, kids 6 years old are being forced into marriages. That's politics. And young people need to realize that it is politics that determines whether your lights are on or they are off. It is politics that determines whether you have a job or you don't have a job. And that is why this election is very important, not just for us as young people, but for our future as a country.
Thank you so much, Mr. Nyati. Thank you. Mama, thank you so much for joining us here at MPK. Just tell us some of the plans that you've heard from the DA party, telling us of their plans to rescue South Africa. Why do you want to vote for the DA?
I'm most definitely going to vote for the DA because the DA has the plan to rescue South Africa, from all the ills of the past 30 years that the ANC was governing this South Africa to the ground. So the DA has a plan for all the crime, the abuse, the healthcare, all of that. The DA has a plan for that. And we can prove that. You can see what's happening in the Western Cape and where we govern. We govern well, and we govern for the people, not for the DA. We govern for the people. If we, as DA, govern, we put the people first and not ourselves.
Thank you so much, Mama. Thank you. Just tell us why you want to vote for the DA.
The Democratic Alliance is the Democratic Alliance is the only party that can lead, that can govern. Because in the ANC party or regime, we lack employment. In the DA government, as we can see, the Western Cape is flourishing currently. Unemployment rate is very low. In this Eastern Cape, we lack employment. It's like a pothole. that needs to be fixed. That is how we feel about employment. Public health system, it's corrupt. Department of Education, worst education system ever, because of the fact we lack education in this Southern Africa. We lack education worse here in this Eastern Cape. Our kids are unemployed, they're uneducated. We don't know where to go with this ANC department.
Thank you so much.
The reason I want to vote for the DI is because they can bring change to us. There's unemployment rate, the load shedding, there's hospitals where the people don't get even a hint of care, or there's no care for the elderly. Even the streets here in the northern areas, even our children, they don't get opportunities. Even the schools, there's nothing where the children get something out. The DI, where they govern, they can bring change to us. This is a rescue plan where they're going to increase the social grant for the children, which their child can have something to eat. Poverty is it's something big in the northern areas, and the DA is here to give us that kind of change, to say we're here to give job opportunities for us. Load shedding, they're gonna kill load shedding for us. Road shedding, we're gonna have hospitals where we get equal. How can we say hospitality in hospitals and everything? But that is what the DA is doing, trying to rescue Eastern Cape, where the ANC is governing at the moment, where we get lack of everything. They don't worry about our people, but the DA is here to rescue our people. Thank
The DA manifesto just concluded, and now standing with some of the supporters and voters of the DA. Mama, thank you so much for speaking to us here at MPK. Just tell us why you want to vote for the DA.
Ndifuna ukuvotela i-DA because ndifuna utshintsho. Ndidikiwe urhwaphilizo lenziwa umbutho ophetheyo apha eSouth Africa. Sililutsha sinamisebenzi, abazali bayasokola, abantwana bayakidnetshwa, abanye bayareyishwa. So sicela utshintsho for i-DA ngosnani mambarha apha eNew Bright.
Enkosi mama. So mama kasithetha why you ufuna uvotela i-DA?
Ndifuna uvotela i-DA mna ngoba ndidike uphangela ekitchen. Iminyaka kodwa kho tshintsho naselifini yam kwakwindawo endihlala kuyo, ndihlala ecam kodamsters, but kudala ukhansila ndimchazela ngayo akadenze tshintsho. Friji yam ide yatyiwa ngaphakathi nangaphandle, kodwa i-ANC ayenzi nto, yenza itshintsho kwindawo esihlala kuyo. Kwaye siyoyika nothetha nasezihlanganisweni uba kaloku aba bantu bahamba nabantu abaphatha izinto ezithi thina xa sifuneke sithethe izinto ezisityayo singakwazi usithetha. Kungoko ndifuna uDA mniphathe because kaloku ayisi into baba he can make a difference. Unolwenza utshintsho olukhulu, abantwana bethu bafunda kwizikolo ezibhetere, bengakhange bafunda kwizikolo ezibhetere kodwa at least bafumane imfundo yiyo. Nathi thina abantu baphangela emakhitshini sibone into yoba ngaba noko kwimali esisipeyayo sipela imali ezibhetere. Singathi imali esiyipeya emakhitshini okanye imali esiyipeya isipeyile into yoba mayibe kukutya etafuleni kube kungekho nto esinothi siyifumane emveni koko. Siyagula zizifo, siyafa, abantwana bethu bani bakhula benezifo, but kuyo yonke nto leyo ukwazi umntanakho umsa kwi-special doctor, awukwazi umsa umntanakho koogqirha. Funeke umthathe umntanakho umse ekliniki. Ofisha iikliniki zethu nazo uhlala an hour 2 to 3 hours. Mhlawumbi ngelinye ixesha uhlala imini yonke but uhlalela iphanato engazonceda mntana wakho. Ndifuna i-DA iphathe, ndifuna izokwenza utshintsho. Viva!
Une-environment erayithi elokusini mna ndingumama ona-70, a single parent ena-70 years today. Azange ndaba nandla ndihlala emkhukwini onethayo, kodwa zange ndancedwa yi-ANC. I-DA sesiyibiza sigcwelele ngamanzi kumatyotyombe ethu aseNew Bright. Kuza yona kuqala nako-12 ebusuku naxesha liphi na, into esingazange sayifumana kwi-ANC. Develop volunteer kwa-ANC for 22 years neekhansila zabo zonke. So ndithetha ngento ndinamava ngayo mna kwi-ANC. ANC irongo, kugcwele ii-drugs, kugcwele into yokudutyulwa abantu every day, kodwa bakhona benza into ngaloo nto. Nam ndivele kudutyulweni umntana, zange yenziwe loo nto leyo.
Enkosi kakhulu mama. Now it will be up to the voters on the 29th of May to make their mark and vote in the government of their choice. Thank you so much for joining the special election broadcast. My name is Sinaya Nchutu. Until next time, good night.